All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Appreciate all the love and support with you guys coming over. We're back on the Law and Crime Network channel. The closing arguments, I think, begun or has happened. Got this video title that says, P. Diddy darts eyes at federal prosecutor as she rips him in closings. I just want to know what's going to be said. And also, you know, what is what if they're getting close to when they're going to say when a verdict is going to be? Is it going to be, you know, today's Thursday? Is it going to be Friday? Is it going to be Monday? I don't know. So shout out to the Law and Crime Network. I'll leave the original video in the description so you guys can check out more and even subscribe. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
All right, welcome back to our continued coverage of the Sean Combs criminal case in New York. I'm Jesse Weber. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get to more of your questions. We're going to get Elizabeth Milner up right now. Before I do, I just want to let you know we got a super chat question that came in from Smarty Pants. Smarty Pants, first of all, thank you so much. I know you've been very active in our questions for the last several weeks. We really do appreciate it. The question is, jury does not or does have to be unanimous on the RICO predicates for the RICO conspiracy case. Yes, for that charge, RICO conspiracy, yes, they absolutely have to be, but only with respect to two. Only with respect to at least two predicate crimes. And I believe on the verdict form, they even have to check off which of those were actually proven. So it's a really good question. By the way, Miss N. Kesey, Jesse, fellow class of 2012 lawyer. Is that Kenza? Kenza, if it is, put it down in the chat. Good to see you, Kenza. It's been a minute. Where have you been? I hope it's Kenza. Anyway, thank you so much. All right, let me bring on Elizabeth Milner, Law and Crime's in-court reporter, a fan favorite. Everybody loves Elizabeth. Why? Let me read it to you. Alana Rodriguez says, hi, Queen Elizabeth and Jesse. You're both great. Jesse's handsome. Elizabeth's gorgeous. Question for Elizabeth. Did Combs' family come today? Elizabeth, good to see you. Did Combs' family come today?
Well, that's a great question. And also, thank you so much for the sweet, kind words. I always appreciate it. And I read a lot of y'all's comments. So thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, it was a full house today inside that courtroom, literally body to body. A lot of people.
I mean, this is the most people I've seen behind her. You know, that's a lot of people in that background
Inside that courtroom, and especially over on the defense's side, where you're seeing more of Diddy's support system and family come to court today to really kind of be here for the final days of the trial, pretty much. Of course, that being summations.
Again, I still don't think that the kids, especially the girls, should be there with all this stuff that they're in, you know, in these especially these closing arguments, like everything that's being read out and said. Yeah. But I mean, they're trying to show support to their dad, but it's still like crazy for them to mentally, you know, hear all this stuff.
Closing arguments. So we saw everyone from Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, Charlucci, who's one of Diddy's very close friends, who's been inside that courtroom every single day of trial and even was attending some of those pre-trial hearings too. We saw Keisha Combs, that's Sean Combs' sister, Justin Combs, Sean Combs' son. Quincy was there. Again, that's also Sean Combs' son. Lisa Hilton, who is the mother of Justin Combs, was there. Sarah Chapman, who is Diddy's daughter, Chance's mother. And then, of course, the twins were there, that being Delilah Combs and Jesse Combs. And so it's interesting, the only one that notably was absent from what I could see inside the main courtroom was just Christian Combs. But everybody else, and I should also say probably his youngest daughter, that being Love, she wasn't there inside the courtroom. But I think notably also some interesting faces that are inside that courtroom today, too, maybe not necessarily on Sean Combs' side, was Doug Wigder, who we all know to be Cassandra Ventura Fine's attorney, as well as Jay Clayton, and that's the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. So a lot of famous faces are inside that courtroom, a lot of people that we're very familiar with as we've been following this case pretty closely. Oh, and I think I forgot Karen Agnifalo's inside that courtroom too. So it's a lot of people there really trying to see what these summations are going to be, both on the prosecution side and then once we get to the defense's closing tomorrow, obviously for the defense's side too.
Since there are no cameras in that federal courtroom, there's no audio equipment in that courtroom, Elizabeth has been our eyes and our ears for the last several weeks.
Thank
so
you.
we have this question from Merlin Spies. What is Diddy's reaction today? Does he look worried?
Yeah, so I was trying to get some peeks in between all the heads of the attorneys that were literally right in front of me inside the courtroom today. Because normally that row right in front of us in terms of the press is normally empty. But today, again, everybody's inside that courtroom. So when I was getting peeks and glimpses over at the defense's table, I was trying to see what Sean Combs' demeanor was during these closing arguments, especially as they were talking about RICO, especially as they were in both alleged victim 1, that being Cassie, and alleged victim 2, that being Jane. And so from what I could see, especially at the start of the trial, or excuse me, at the start of closing arguments today, I really kind of saw Sean Combs really just kind of stare a little bit into the distance from what I could see. He was kind of looking toward where the judge is on the bench, and obviously there's no witness over there. So really the prosecutor, that being Christy Slavic, was giving her summations over kind of towards the side right in front of the jury box with a microphone and a stand kind of like the one that I have my notes on right now. And so I saw him kind of looking a little past her, again, kind of towards the judge's direction. Then I would look over, I'd see him kind of like getting glimpses over at Christy Slavic doing the summations and possibly at the jury too. And then I saw him, doing what he usually does too while he's at the defense table, which is jotting notes down, passing them off to Mark Agnifilo. So really we got all these different kinds of movements from him. But in terms of just demeanor, I think he was just especially happy to have his family inside that courtroom, making sure everybody who was on the list was able to get inside in order to support him. And so from that was probably the most reaction I've seen of him, is just a big smile on his face whenever he saw his family.
Elizabeth, we're reading the transcript of the closing arguments. We have no idea what the tone is like. We have no idea how Christy Slavic is actually delivering it. So we have a couple of questions here. Jack asks, Elizabeth, how would you describe the overall tone of Christy Slavic's closing argument? Was it emotional, methodical, aggressive? John Doe III asks, what seemed to be the prosecution's most powerful moment in closing arguments so far?
Great question.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's very methodical. And, I know that this is a very high-profile trial. Obviously, it's a very high-profile defendant, that being Sean Combs. And so maybe people might think that they're expecting these very animated moments during the summations done by the government. But it seems like it's just really kind of very monotone, very concise, I should say. But I will say this, Jesse, is that Christy Slavic, when she's giving these closing arguments, she really is just laying it out as simple as possible, to the point I'm actually understanding everything that's going on. And I'm like, okay, this is really just kind of laid out perfectly for the jury. Now, could points have been kind of condensed a little bit and not as repetitive? Possibly, maybe. But in terms of just the tone in her demeanor while giving these closing argument, it is very kind of similar to how the government's opening statement was. It was just very monotone. You can tell she's kind of reading off of the scripts that she had prepared. But I think it's interesting too, because they put, a PowerPoint presentation of just everything in terms of just all the assistants that the jury was able to see, all the escorts/entertainers that the jury was able to see. They were kind of bringing points from the transcript and relating it to certain points of maybe, in some cases, the RICO conspiracy and arson thing, relating it to the testimony that was given by particular witnesses, including, Kid Cudi or Capricorn Clark, those types of folks. And then bringing it back to the text messages, where they're highlighting how these certain text messages will really kind of point to instances of alleged leaking in terms of Jane or in terms of Cassie. And so that's really kind of the tone in terms of the closing arguments that they have. And from what I could see even of the jury, especially at the beginning, they were really kind of paying close attention. I think maybe towards the lunchtime hour, they were ready for lunch, because it's a long time to be listening to just one person. But, if I can binge watch a Netflix series for 8 hours, I think the jurors are okay with the 4-hour summation.
Well, that is why the defense wanted Mark Agnifilo to go on Friday. They didn't want him to have to go after the jury's exhausted from prosecution's closing argument and having lunch. Oh, now we got to hear the defense. It affects the impact of that. So I completely understand it. Elizabeth, I know you have to get back into court. Great seeing you. Thank you so much. Great reporting. We even have Outcast93 saying, Elizabeth, you've been doing a fantastic job since the beginning of this trial. You really have. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out what the closing argument is going to be for tomorrow, because I don't know, man. It just feel like And maybe you guys agree or maybe not, but it just felt like it was going to be like from the beginning when like the news came out, like when Cassie suing Diddy, and he settled for that, what was it, 20, 30, I forgot, million. Diddy had made that apology video. And it was rumored that it was all these celebrities. They were talking about kids. It was just so much in the beginning that I thought would have been mentioned in this trial, and it wasn't. um even if KK, Christina Quorum, would have testified, if she would have got on the stand, even after what she would have possibly said, it still seemed like there was a lot that would have still been missing. Like, I just feel like maybe somebody knows, or they know more than, like, something that's not being told to us. Like, once this is all over and done with, just the amount of people, like, because when you see that footage of these parties, man, it was so many people there. So many. And the way it's presented is if, like, the freak offs were happening at these hotels, right? But the way it seemed is like these freak offs were happening at these Diddy parties. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't separate. But the way it just played out in court is like you had Diddy parties at this location, and then you had freak offs at this location. I just thought, I just, the way it seemed like, oh, if you go to a Diddy party, it's gonna be in this mansion, and this mansion has all these rooms, and in certain rooms certain things are going on, and there's certain, there's different levels of things happening at these parties. That's what I thought it was going to be taking place. And you're going to have celebrities coming in testifying to what they seen, what they didn't see. But as we know, as the things played out, it seemed to be a separate thing. Like, people who said, like, oh, I went to the Diddy parties, but I left before things got crazy. What do you mean by that? So was things getting crazy at these parties? Because it's like, I mean, it came out like, oh, this person said that they witnessed Diddy do this to Cassie at a party. They were in the back. I don't know, man. It just seemed like a lot um, is missing. Now, there's more to this video. This video is like 21 minutes long. I'm not going to react to the whole thing. I'm going to watch it on my own, because I already know it's going to be a lot of things said, a lot of language spoken that I'm going to have to edit out in the video. Ain't going to make no sense. But I'm looking at some comments here. It says the defense is about to have a field day. I wonder if they will report it. No, probably not. Yeah, I'm just, because the defense is going to come up there and say, out of all these people who testified and this, you guys said it was this, there was nothing. Yeah, it's like they get the last word. We'll see. I was just watching some more of the video, and they were saying how Jesse asked, do you think, or I think a question came in, was asked about, do you think Jane's testimony was a waste of time? And, one of the ladies on the panel said that they don't think it was a waste of time because Jane was basically backing everything that Cassie said. Like, when Cassie testified about, all the things Diddy was doing, it like went hand in hand with what Jane was talking about. Although, uh, he was saying like how Jane kind of like agreed, like a lot of the stuff seemed to be consensual. Um, it still had like a, the whole like fear of saying no to it. So her testimony wasn't, although a lot of people are saying, her testimony was one of the weaker ones for the prosecution, but they're saying that it wasn't a waste of time. They were also talking about how there's, there's 70 lawsuits, and basically they're just saying how it's like they're throwing the book at him. And it's like, are you just trying to, get a conviction on as many as you can? Whenever you see like 70 lawsuits, civil lawsuits, a lot of people are going to look at that as like, oh, people are just trying to do a money grab. But they're saying like, maybe they're just trying to get as many as they can, like, because that's a lot. That's a lot. And I doubt if he's going to be, charged like for all of those. But we'll see. They're just saying like he's going to settle the cases that need to be settled. He said he's going to be probably doing these for years. Even if he is in prison, he's still going to have to fight these, and the lawyer, his teams are going to go through the ones they think that need to be. Yeah, so even with the trial coming to an end, it's still a lot of these suits that he's going to have to deal with, and the guy is saying it's going to be going on for years. So it's like it's about to be over, but it's really not. I'm just wondering, like, is it going to be guilty or not guilty? That's where we're at right now. And how much time is he looking at? But again, appreciate you guys coming over and watching, man. And the next update I get, I'll share it with y'all. Peace out.